Hello everybody, welcome back to NaりきりDungeon. We are quickly approaching the end of this game. I'll show you the costumes we're going to do today. We are entering the final dungeon. I'm going to do Dio's summoner costume, hopefully show off some of the summons that I've collected. And Mel's going to be Wonder Momo. Why? I don't know. Just for fun, for a few fights I suppose, and I'll probably swap it out. So here we go, final dungeon in the game. This may be a two-parter, since usually the final dungeon is long, and this dungeon's very quiet. And our two heroes can sense their other two counterparts. And our characters say we're here to defeat them, technically defeat ourselves. 自分の悪い心に勝つ. So, interesting Japanese line there. You know, win against our own evil hearts, or the evil that is in our hearts. Alright, so here we go. This place looks pretty chaotic. So I apologize, I'm probably going to have the full screen map up, just so I don't get lost. And somewhere I created a bridge. Oh, there it is. So lining up those things makes bridges in different areas. The music is different when you're using this Wonder Momo costume. The fight music's different. I honestly don't know where this Wonder Momo is from. It's like, although it sounds familiar, it's got to be from one of those Kamen Rider or, you know, those style of videos. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers kind of thing. Her doing the splits there is kind of questionable. Actually, the music here is kind of peaceful. Kind of a peaceful place. Let me go ahead and swap this out real quick. There isn't much to see on the Wonder Momo costume. I think I'll go with the Amazones. It's probably my favorite one in the game, is her, the Beast set. And I've scanned everything pretty much. I like the backgrounds for the fights in this place are really nice too. Kind of a cool crystal theme going here. But yeah, this final dungeon is probably going to be 2 parts. Usually the final dungeon in, you know, any Tales game is usually quite big. It's usually the size of 2 dungeons usually. So I'll probably split this into 2 parts, and then we'll have the final boss and ending video, and then some bonus content after that. That's kind of my plan. Yeah, let me go ahead and... I made a cut there after that fight and turned on the holy bottle so that we can just explore freely without interruption. So if there are any rare or important items, I'll make sure to grab them and show them on camera. And there's a couple pretty nasty puzzles in this place, I'm sure. And once I figure out the solutions, I'll go ahead and show you how to do those puzzles if, you know, if you're playing this game and if you're stuck or struggling. I'll show how to do all the puzzles here in the final dungeon. Let me just walk back around over here just to make sure. Just gonna be kind of thorough here, make sure I've got all the dead ends and all the chests. Because I need to know if I got all the items for summons. I think there's like 1 summon that I'm still missing. And I'm pretty sure the material to do that summon is here in this dungeon, so... once I find it, I'll definitely make a note of it in this video. Somewhere a bridge appeared. Such useful and pointless information. So I think lighting most of these lantern things is just kind of a shortcut. Or adding shortcuts, you know, to different sections to make it a little easier to traverse. Okay, so that was the first room that I stepped back into. I just wanted to make sure. So there's one of the bridges that we created. So yeah, it's just like a shortcut basically. The gate to the future. So let me walk over here just to make sure. Nope. Didn't miss anything. I know I'm kind of walking around in a crazy circular fashion, but I'm just trying to be thorough and make sure that I've got every item in every section. Going to all the dead ends first. See, I guess some of these light things, you don't have to light them, but yeah, the shortcuts are definitely useful. Especially if we have to exit the dungeon and come back, because I'm probably going to have to exit real quick and refill my holy bottles or something. But yeah, they went all out in this crazy place. Super quiet, unnerving music. as well as just the map looks like it was scrawled, a bunch of scribbles by a 4-year-old. Maybe one of the developers, my 3-year-old just scrawled a bunch of lines on a piece of paper. Yeah, let's use that as our map for the final dungeon. Okay, so this was that other room, so I'm pretty sure let me check. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we were here, and I went out that south exit there. The southeast one. So I've come full circle, so I haven't missed anything yet. Yeah, I've been really impressed how long this game was. You know, for a portable Tales game, I thought it would be shorter, you know, than a usual Tales game, but actually this was pretty long. Interesting. Okay, we have to have 2 certain classes. Okay, so here we go with costume stuff. So we're gonna have to have Mel and Dio in some particular costumes in order to get through this mirror. Okay, so the costumes for this first mirror are kind of Dio's, you know, samurai one, and it doesn't matter which of the 3. And Mel's witch or spellcaster costume, and it doesn't matter which of the 3 that you choose, really. So if you can't read Japanese, you might have a little difficulty getting through there, but just use Dio's samurai costume and then Mel's witch costume. Ooh, there's a bunch of goodies down there. Goodies, goodies. But yeah, since I'm planning on just running through here with holy bottles, I'm not really going to be getting into any fights, so the costume doesn't matter too much. That's kind of interesting. It forces you to use certain costumes, and then you're going to have to adjust your battle strategy accordingly. Okay, so there's a bridge missing there, apparently, to go up to all those goodies. I'll figure out how to get that activated. First, let me get all the chests here. And of course, we're going to be running out of these holy bottles really quick. Yeah, without the map, boy, this place is really convoluted. Okay, so I saw a chest up there, and we made a little bridge here. Yeah, I kind of like the peaceful ambience here for a change. Okay, so that path is up top. Boy, how do I get up there? Gotta go all the way around. There we go. I like the way Suzu runs. It's sort of the Naruto ninja style running. But as we all know, Suzu is way cooler than Naruto. I mean, come on. She is just the ultimate ninja. Okay, I went ahead and made a cut there just to make it a little easier. A little shorter, instead of you having to watch me walk all the way around again. I'll probably do some editing like that. Make things a little easier. So here is the kanji for the costumes that you need. So if you're having trouble and you don't know Japanese, pause the video. Just match that kanji with the kanji that's over the line in the costume section. You notice if you go to the costumes here, above each set of costumes is 3 kanji characters. You can see them up there on each side, and if you're not sure, you can just sort of match the kanji with what you saw there on the sign. The sign tells you which costumes to use. And it looks like the sides are different, but any of the 3, it doesn't matter. It's a little annoying though, because then you have to check your equipment again once you swap costumes. I already had Mel on the healer there, so Dio was supposed to be the axe wielder, and Mel, you could choose any of the healing classes. For example, the nurse costume, and that's all you need to get through that second mirror. So Dios is here listening to the radio about the war going on. And he says when he was 13, this is when he decided he would join the army. Did training, to be a general and fight the injustice in the world. But of course, Dios says you can't blame everything on the war. Which, yeah, he's right. I mean, it's terrible circumstances, but, Dios is saying, if there wasn't any war, things would have been completely different in my life. But Dio keeps reminding him that, the choices that he makes, that's up to him, war or not. And that's kind of the whole question that Norn is allowing them to relive, giving them another opportunity. Is it, true that it's all the war's fault that you've made these choices? Or is it actually, the fault of your circumstances? Or is it actually the fault of, just the way you chose to live your life in these circumstances? Yeah, I know, deep thoughts, right? Deep, confusing thoughts, but that's the way Japanese like to do a lot of their storytelling. Kind of makes you think. And it's, I like it because it's a unique perspective into how, Japanese storytelling and how their video games work, and why they have a very different feel than Western style storytelling or RPGs, which is usually the Disneyfied Bambi happy end, good versus evil, clear cut black and white. But Japanese RPGs and storytelling in general are not that way, and a lot of the storytelling is to stimulate your thinking about these really tough questions. So I find it interesting. And I'm kind of just walking around here making sure I get all the dead ends. My favorite thing in the world. Dead end, my old friend. I want to make sure I show any costumes or any important items, but I don't think... Okay, so that goes to the next area, it looks like. I don't think there's any costumes, per se, in the final dungeon. I could be wrong, but I'll definitely explore to make sure. And if I have a ton of backtracking to do, like I'm wandering around this place, excessively, I'll just make some cuts to sort of jump to the blue, exit there, in other words. But yeah, let me quickly, so that there's dead end down there, I'm pretty sure there's something. Let me quickly run and grab that, and then I'll just make a cut to the exit, so you don't have to watch me walking in circles. But yeah, this place is crazy. Try it without the map if you want to work on your memory cognition skills. A fight symbol. Probably not really worth it. A fight symbol there, since you can purchase those at Namcot Island and I think some other places. So here's the kanji again that you need for the 2 costumes. But of course, if you're watching this video, I'll just show you which 2 costumes to use. So Mel is going to be the knight. I'm using the white knight just because it looks cooler. And Dio needs to be the... let me try the other summoner, the other side. No, that doesn't work. So one side is the regular summoner, and the other side is the sort of beast tamer side, I guess you call it. You know, where you can capture enemies. I mean, they're both kind of summoner-style classes, but apparently it has to be that side. But it can be any 3... you know, of Mel's and any 3 of his Beast Master costumes. So if you haven't unlocked those costumes, don't worry too much about it. It can be any on those lines. But it's kind of a cool concept. So Bandi here is having Meltia do lots of studying. Apparently she's super smart as a child, and he's wanting her to study to help him in the war. And Meltia is saying, you know, her real parents didn't want her, didn't find her of value, so she wanted to be needed. That's a typical thing. So from 13, you know, she studied really hard so she could feel like she was needed by somebody, so that she wouldn't be abandoned. Then Mel says that, so you made the mana cannon there, huh? Just so she could make her father happy and so she could feel like she was needed, so she wouldn't be abandoned again. So as long as she was needed, you know, she wouldn't be abandoned. So that was kind of her desperation. But she was always afraid. She always had fear in her heart that it would happen again, that she would be left alone. And so she, you know, had to do whatever was necessary so that she would be needed and loved by her father, her adopted father. And Mel asks, is that really true? I mean, you know, do you really, really have to be needed by someone? And of course she says, you just don't understand. You that have, you know, had everything and, you know, sort of the pampered lifestyle since she was a baby. But of course Meltia was desperate not to be forgotten and not to be abandoned again. And so she desperately worked for her adopted father there, Bandi, to make the mana cannon. Yeah, it's really, really cool in this game that they are talking more about the plot from the original, you know, Tales of Phantasia, where, you know, you don't really hear about where the mana cannon came from and, you know, the Great War. It's just Cless and, you know, a party just sort of stumbled upon it. And of course they were firing the mana cannon in that story just as he arrived, and he and Mint were helping with the war efforts. But you never really get to see a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. So this game is kind of interesting in that it adds a lot to the story while being its own separate story. Cool concept for a game that, you know, is not a sequel, but it's kind of like a sequel. So I like this style of doing a game that, you know, you can treat it almost like a sequel, but it's not. Oh! Dead ends, my old friend. Need to keep an eye as I go across these other ledges. And if I don't see a chest, then I can avoid the dead end. But yeah, once again, I'll make sure to grab all these chests so that if you're playing this game or if you're just obsessed with knowing what's in the dungeon, like me, I'll be sure to be picking up everything. And there's nothing in that one either. But there's got to be something here, right? Of course. A specific. Those are actually really useful. Specific and treat are some of the most useful items. I don't think they can be purchased anywhere, and since they affect the entire party, super useful items. Probably some of the most valuable in all the Tales games. I did check this dead end, didn't I? Yeah, I think I did. Just want to be sure. Crossing all the T's and dotting all the J's. We have this video will probably be pretty long, so I'll go ahead and do a two-parter, I think. Maybe when I get to a boss, we'll have a boss fight, and then I'll end there. Man, this place is complicated. The map is a little deceiving in that it looks like, sections are connected, but they're not, since they go above and underneath each other. There we go. Blue chamomile. That's probably definitely worth getting. Okay, so I think I got everything in this area. And then we probably have another costume switch coming up. But yeah, I'll make sure to say which costumes you need. For those that can't read Japanese. But like I said, matching up the kanji is a way, one of the ways you can just figure out which costume you need. Just kind of take a screenshot with your phone and then, of the kanji there that I circled, and then match it up with the kanji that's above the costumes in the costume menu. And yeah, I don't have a sign here. So I went ahead and saved my game. And didn't need any special costumes to go through that mirror. So here we've got a scene talking to ourselves. Wow. Boy, the Dios and Meltia are real jerks. Just don't think that you're just goody two-shoes, you two, because you are us. So you think, you living a good life is gonna forgive all the sins. It's you can't do that because you are us, and we are you. Of course, Dio and Mel saying they know that, and that's why they're here. They're here to face the evil that they've committed and face up to their crimes. And, so that justice can be served. They're afraid and a bit worried, but they're here to face it head on. That's why they came here in the first place. So they're gonna fight themselves. And the good half defeat the evil half. And Dios says, of course we don't understand like the pain and suffering that you've been through, but that's why we're here. And we're here to face it, and we're to face ourselves and the evil in our own hearts. All right then, come. We are waiting for you. Deeper in the cave. Dio says, let's go. Are you afraid? What about you, Dio? Your voice is, sort of shuddering. Well, that can't be helped. I'm a little afraid, of course. Like, it's really strange that you're being so honest. Shut up. In a joking way. I wonder if Eto will be angry with us. Probably will be. But this is something we decided to do. To face it head on. Let's go. Yeah, pretty heavy stuff. And of course the inevitable outcome, if you kill yourself, you cease to exist. So yeah, we've got the Back to the Future problem going here. If you destroy yourself, then you will cease to exist in a different time. It's always one of the problems with time travel. Another bridge somewhere. At least this room isn't nearly as complex. The reason I'm not using holy bottles is that I ran out. So that's how much walking we've been doing. So I've been cutting out some of the fights. But I'm assuming we're getting pretty close here. Aha, so this button looks like that section with the funny, bridge that was missing. If you remember back near the beginning. For some reason it's not activating. Maybe I have to do something first, and then the switch will work. I don't know. Miracle gummies. Miracle gummy. Might as well use those, I suppose. Alright, here we go. Gonna face ourselves. I don't know, I feel Meltia isn't such a bad person. She was afraid to actually use the mana cannon. Even though she made it, it was Dios who, actually fired the mana cannon. And Meltia was definitely against it all. Even though she was the original creator, I feel like Meltia is more innocent than Dios. And of course we're gonna reassure Ethos here. Since we have the Narikiri powers. And of course they're saying, you cannot defeat us, because we are you. And Dio says, well, we don't know unless we try. Well, that's positive thinking. And I think it's a joke that we're going to try to defeat them. But you know what? We have Mint in our party. And of course, you don't know how powerful Mint is. The most powerful healer in all Tales series gaming. So there's no way we can be defeated by you, by ourselves. I'm just gonna spam items, keep myself recharged here. Wow. Did you see all that damage? I was hitting them both at the same time, too. I kind of wanted to see their he-ogis. Dios and Meltia. I know they each have one. But I killed them too fast, apparently. Just huge damage there at the end. Oh, Dio says he knows that, they'll disappear as well. Dios and Meltia are sort of mocking them. You know what happens if, we are defeated. That means you defeated yourself. How foolish. But yeah, we faced the evil in our own hearts, and we're successful. What is this, like Kingdom Hearts now? Kind of tragic, though. It's Dio. Oh, so Dio's kind of putting their hands together. It's kind of sweet. So, Ethos is a little worried here, like, what does this mean that you're going to disappear as well? Well, if they disappear, then we disappear. Ethos is definitely not happy about that. And Roddy, of course, says, Meltia and Dios are Mel and Dio. Just sort of a reincarnation sort of thing to give them a chance to face justice, since they said their circumstances were unjust, and Norn gave them a chance to see that it wasn't, that it was their fault. Not many people get a second chance. So Dio says this is what Norn wanted, perhaps? For us to defeat ourselves? Ethos doesn't think so. That's cruel. But Mel says, we were going to face our sins, face our crimes ourselves, and defeat them, and that's probably what Norn wanted. It just says, killing yourself with your own hands? That's definitely not something that Norn would want. That's too cruel. just too cruel. Yeah, it's true. I'm not sure what Norn actually wants. But I'm sure we'll find out in the next episode. Yeah, they had to pay for the crime of killing 10 million people. You know, with the mana cannon. And of course, all the problems with Dios. Ah, Kururu's heading somewhere. Ah, Norn says, "Come this way. Waiting for you deeper in the cave." So here we go. Looks like we're gonna go face our final judgment with Norn. Still don't quite know where Norn fits into the lore. Looks like Norn is up ahead. I wonder if this was the right thing that we chose. What about you, Dio? Yeah, at least they kind of agreed for once. Alright everybody, it looks like the second part of the dungeon is in front of us. Looks pretty cool. So in the next one, we'll continue with this final dungeon. Thanks for watching everybody, and I'll see you in the next Narikiri video. Ja ne!